we have to mention that Pinchas was the son, great-grandson, of Aaron HaKohen. So he says people were making fun of him. Who is this guy, the son of Puti, that came along, whose father, he fattened calves for Avodah Zarah? It's talking about Yitro. He came from the line of Yitro. He's doing Avodah Zarah, and this grandson comes along and he kills a Nasi in Yisrael. Because of that, we traced his ancestry back to Aaron. Okay? Comes along Chaim Shmulevich. If someone has kina for Hashem, he's allowed to kill the other guy. He's allowed to kill. If he catches these people doing znus, they were not being sneers together, so he's allowed to kill them. But you can only do it has to be kinis Hashem tahor. The kina has to come from a pure place. Really kinis Hashem. It's not your own anger. It's not your own trip. It's really you're doing it l'shem shemaim. 100% l'shem shemaim. So because of that, we wanted to trace his ancestry back to Aaron. Why Aaron? Because Aaron is Oyev Shalom. What was the quality? What was the midos of Aaron? Right? Bris Shalom. He's a person who loved people. Aaron had tremendous love for the Jewish people. So we wanted to trace him back, because in order to do this act of cruelty, I mean, you're killing somebody, we want to make sure that the act is being done in a pure way. So we traced Pinchas back to Aaron to show that really he's doing it from a pure way. You see, he comes from a pure source. He loves the Jewish people. Why is he doing this mitzvah? Because it's really doing a mitzvah, and he's doing it from Tahora. Because what were the qualities of Aaron? Oyev Shalom, Rodev Shalom, Oyev Esabrius. Male, had a person is a person full of love. So listen to this. This is really interesting. He says, not only that you need the quality of love to do such a mitzvah, but in general, Baklal, in order to bring a punishment, you have to have love. If you want to punish your children, you want to punish somebody, or you're in a position, or you're a judge, whatever you are, it has to have the basis of love. Because if it doesn't have the basis of love, it's not going to come out straight. It says by Avram Avinu and Yishmael. We know that Avram Avinu pushed out Yishmael. He was on his deathbed. He was about to die. He sent him out to the desert with water and bread. And he doesn't want to give him anything because he says he hated him. He hated Yishmael because he was off the derech. He was on the wrong way. The only problem is they have a contradiction in Pesukim. We have another place where it says, at the Akedah, take the son that you love. And Avram says to Hashem, what do you mean take the son? Which one? It goes on and back and forth. Which one is it? In the end, okay, it turns out to be Yitzchak. But really we see that Avram loved his son. So make up your mind. Did he love his son or did he hate his son? The answer is that you can have two contradictory emotions. Avram Avinu was able to have two contradictory emotions at the same time. He was able to mitkaven. I hate him for the fact that he is doing the wrong thing and he's doing averas, but I love him because he's my son. He's a Ben Adam. I love him, but I hate him at the same time. Yeah, that's what he says. In order to have true din, you have to have love. If you want to bring hate, that has to come from a place of love. Because if you don't have the love and it comes with the hate, then that's a horrible thing. If you hate people, really hate them, or are racist, or realize what you hate, you want to kill people, you want to hurt people, that is destructive force. That's not coming from the right place. If you're going to hate somebody, you have to make sure first you have love for them. You care about them. You want it for their good. Hashem doesn't punish, it's just like it's really ma'u afatah. Hashem doesn't punish us because he hates us. Hashem punishes us because he loves us. And that's what he's going to say next. This is unbelievable. There's a Gemara in Yuma that says when the Goyim came into the Beis HaMikdash to destroy it, they saw the angels on top of the Aaron, they were hugging each other. That is a siman, the Ritzvah asked the Kasha. He says, wait a second, when they hug each other, the rule was, when Hashem was close with the Jewish people, they were close to each other. When Hashem was against, Kruvim, yeah. When Hashem was against them, these angels would look away from each other. Not really angels, whatever they were. Yeah. So they would look away. So the Kasha is, wait a second, how could it be at the point of destruction that the angels were hugging each other? This doesn't make any sense. That's the Ritzvah's Kasha. So the answer is no. Exactly. When Hashem wants to met out punishment, he has to be very close to us. He has to love us. So in the destruction, at the time of the destruction of the time of the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash, Hashem was very, very close to us. That was the only way he was able to destroy. All din, in a certain sense, has to be cushioned with love. There has to be love there, and then you can bring the din. It can't just be pure din. And now listen to this. And also the same story by Sodom. It says by Sodom. Hashem destroyed Sodom. Yeah, the wife of Lot looked back and she saw the destruction of Sodom and she died. Why did she die? Chazal tells us because the Shekhinah was there. No one can see the Shekhinah, the presence of God, and live. That's a rule. If a person sees the presence of God, he dies. The question is, what was the Shekhinah, what was the presence of God doing at the destruction of Sodom? Just send the angels down there and destroy them. The answer is no. When Hashem destroys, He's there. He's close. Even to the point that it's so close and so revealed. Hashem was so revealed that when she looked back, she died. And this was at the destruction of Sodom. So you have contradictory things going on here. You have tremendous love and tremendous destruction at the same time. But that is the way it works. So what do we learn from this? What's the mussar that we have to know? We have to know ourselves. If we're going to give out mussar to somebody else, we're going to be angry, we're going to tell somebody else off, we have to make sure that our starting point, our basis is love. If you don't have love, there's no din. If you're giving din without love, that means you're doing the wrong thing. You're being destruction. You're being destructive. You don't want to be destructive. You want to really do the real din, just like Hashem punishes us. Not to destroy us. Hashem punishes us to correct us. He loves us. He wants us to come back. So too, when you speak to your friend, or your wife, or your kids, whatever you're doing, you have to be in a position where you have to be the authority. You have to explain to them the right way. But the basis has to be love. Between Adam lechaver, between a man and another man, it always has to be love. And even if you're going to bring the din, it has to be on the basis of love. And we have to know that the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash, really, even though Hashem destroyed the Beis HaMikdash, but He was there. He loves us. And even though it's the 3 weeks and things are hard, really it's coming out the opposite. At the times of din, that Hashem is close to us. During these 3 weeks, Hashem is very close to us. He's pushing us and He wants us to, brings the din, but that's an order that we should come back to Him. So He's close.